Oh.
Hi.
Are we live?
Are we there? Let's see. Let's just wait to see.
Testing. Finn. Sing a song.
Hang on. Okay.
Anybody there?
Are we there?
It's early. It's only 27 minutes past and we're early.
Well, we'll just fill and hopefully people will join us.
There's just a few messages coming through. Just go to events.
Right, we're just waiting to see how we're getting on here. Check that we're...
Are we actually live?
Well, that is the question.
Should we start talking? Anybody hear us? Give us a message. Give us a thumbs up. Do something. Maybe we'll have to send something. Finn boy, would you like a little slurpy slurp? Is that a message? What's that message?
It's live now, right? So we are live.
Oh, are
we? Hello everybody who's there, and we'll just wait for a few more to arrive. So let's just put this on mute because that's us watching ourselves. There we go. Right.
Well, I'm not drinking this, but Le Chien is. Cheers, Finn. Yeah, get cracking with that.
Oh, it's on my leg.
It's a messy old nonsense, that one.
So,
evening, everyone.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to our second... Oh, hi, Simon and Luke. Hi, everyone arriving. Nice to see you. Welcome to our second live tasting. A little bit more notice for this one than the last one. So, quick intro.
Hello, Penny. Who's that? There's Luke again. Hello. Nice to see you.
Big waves all round. Big wave, Finn.
So who are we?
So I'm
what
Jude. I'm Jude.
And I'm Pamela.
And this is Finn. And welcome to Hannibal Brown Wine's live wine tasting. So quick one, just for those of you who don't know who we are. Hannibal Brown, we're in our 8th year of operation, and we're all in the same boat here. So we thought we'd bring you some wine tastings over the web. So I hope some of you have got the wines for this evening. If not, certainly I'm sure you'll get them for next week, and we've got them on the website now announced for next week.
Either way, I hope you've got a glass in front of you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So first of all, I guess a quick little update on what's going on in the world.
Well, my hair's getting longer.
Yeah, thanks Kerry. Thanks for pointing out. Yeah, we're wearing hats next week, I think.
It's hats all the way next week. Hannibal Brown hats. We're into another 3-week lockdown, I hear. What else has been happening? Oh, very importantly, so we are now beginning to see a few issues in the supply chain with some of our European wines. And the first man down, unfortunately, is our lovely Monsieur Labarbe Merlot Mourvèdre, which is not available until around about the 10th of May now. And the reason for that is that bottling in France has slowed right down for obvious reasons. There's nobody going to work. No change there in France, we hear you say. But it is having an effect. And so you will begin to see a few of our wines go out of stock. Hopefully it's only going to be temporary and we'll try to replace them. But bloody hell, there's an awful lot of wines on that website. So have a good look.
Oh, just having a quick look here. It looks like James Harris has joined us on time at Epsom Hockey Club.
Hello, James Harris.
Bonsoir, everybody.
One other thing I just wanted to point out. So, an interesting fact. This week we had a couple of samples came through, and both of them smelt of acetone. So, anybody who has got nail polish remover, you'll know exactly what that smells like. If you ever smell even a faintest hint of nail varnish remover in your wine, contact us and we will replace it. It's a fault. It's a nasty fault when it's big. And basically, it's the beginning of oxidation. It's the wine is turning to vinegar. It's an acetobacteria, if you like. It's from acetic acid, which is what you find in vinegar. So not very nice for us. 2 samples, 2 down.
Don't drink them. No. Whatever happens, there's always a better option.
He's listening to you.
Don't drink bad wine. And also, actually, quick point from Hannibal Brown: if you did buy a bottle of wine from us and it was faulty like that, you just need to let us know, because that's an instant replacement. It can't be.
Or don't let us know. Just drink it.
Well, that's probably happening anyway. But there we go. We're not going to judge. Right. So we did send out the canapé recipes for this week. Maybe not as far in advance as would have been ideal. I've already put the
Easter.
recipes on the website for next week, so I'll send the link for that shortly.
And Jude has cleverly embedded some videos of us, or Jude, making those canapés. If you find them, you get a gold star. But they are there, so have a good look. They're a bit of a giggle. And of course, the star of the show is always him.
It's like, where's Wally, isn't it? He pops up everywhere. Okay, so the canapé for the first tasting was our lovely little salmon tartare. This is quite difficult for me to show you, actually, but you'll have seen it on the video, I'm sure. So has everyone got their canapé spoons ready with their salmon and beetroot tartare? Has anybody got their salmon and beetroot tartare? That'd be quite interesting to know. And then onto the wine, I suppose.
Onto the wine.
What's
The whole
wine?
point of us being here. A lovely, lovely, lovely label again, following on from last week's wines. So this, for those who aren't familiar with it, is called Albariño. That is the name of the grape variety. Reveleste is from Rías Bajas, which is up in the northwest corner of Spain, often known as Little Ireland because it rains so much. And incidentally, I hope you noticed our green shirts this week.
Green today. This week is green. No, not for you, Finn.
So, nice little glug for me. Thank you very much.
I wonder whether you might have a word on the tiny, weeny little glasses we're using, because obviously people love their big goblet glasses because you can put half a bottle in them, but...
Well, the tiny weeny glass idea is actually a standard in the wine trade, but actually it says you can get your great big nose in it. So the idea is give it a good old swirl. Again, releases the aromas, makes it easier to appreciate. So whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Anything you've got in your glass, it really doesn't matter. But a quick word about this Albariño. So the producer are actually a family of shell makers. Not shell makers, what do I mean? They harvest shellfish, crustacean, what have you, and which is pretty hard farming in actual fact. And so they decided that it was all getting a bit too hard, and they decided that they'd go for the slightly easier life. Not to say that viticulture is very easy, but it is slightly less dangerous. But so they're carrying on doing their shell farming, crustacean farming. But they're developing wines, and particularly this Albariño, to go specifically with crustacea, so oysters, mussels, barnacles,
salmon,
and salmon.
Once upon a time, I'm sure it lived in a shell.
So cheers.
Okay, cheers everybody.
So the key with the wine is the acidity, and in the lovely little beetroot and canapé, it pairs perfectly with the acidity in the beetroot. And a little bit of oiliness in the salmon.
So I think the real winner in this combination is the oiliness in the salmon, because that's such a nice soft wine that it sort of goes. And then I've actually snuck in a little bit of lemongrass tonight, which I didn't mention before, but just to see. So let's see. Cheers, everybody. Oh, excuse me,
cheers.
Finn.
So what happens? The before and after, when you taste the wine first, it will come across as quite acidic. Once you've had the food, that beetroot acidity actually, it kind of dissipates the acidity in the wine, and it makes the wine much more palatable and easier. And everybody wants something easy at the moment. Yeah.
I'd be interested to know the people who are drinking these wine. Do you like the wine?
Oh yes,
what are the
that's
thoughts?
a good question.
What are the thoughts? Are people
Come on,
enjoying
give
the wine?
Give us feedback. And whilst we're at it, here's a good question for you. We're going to test you. We'd like to know if you guys know what the second biggest consumer country consumer is per capita of wine. Bearing in mind that everybody's consumption has gone up in the last 4 weeks during the lockdown, and there is somebody on this call that I know has ordered 3 times in this week. Good on you.
I'm sure it's all gifts.
So which country is the second biggest consumer of wine in the world?
Per capita.
We'll leave that one with you.
Yeah, so think about it, and we're going to plug you for some answers later on, so just remember. So I just realised that Finn hasn't had a drink yet. Or did he have a drink?
Oh yes, another shout out for Slurps.
Boy.
It's getting hot out there. Lovely Easter weekend, but anybody with a dog there will know that their dog's got very thirsty this week. Slurps.com. It's brilliant. It rehydrates. It's fantastic. Right, what else are we going to talk about?
So that was wine number 1.
So that is it. Reveleste Albariño.
Luke is concurring that the salmon combo works. Well done, Luke.
Well done, Luke.
We love Albariño, and actually we were in South Africa over New Year, very fortunately, and it's one of those grapes that's starting popping up there. You know, there's a few producers have started making it, and actually even in that warm climate, it's still lovely, isn't it?
Absolutely.
So yeah, really good new addition to the range. Hope you're enjoying it.
Yeah.
So I've got a question about Spain.
Fine.
So Albariño is a grape. This I haven't prepped you for this. So
Oh, no.
There may not be even an answer.
Oh, no.
Is a bit like Shiraz is called Shiraz is called Syrah in some countries and Shiraz in others. Does Albariño have another name that you know of, that you can think of off the top of your head?
No.
From another country?
From another country?
As in when it's in another country, is it called?
Oh, that's a big question. I don't know. Let's ask the audience.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We'll
as far as
return.
I'm concerned, as far as I'm aware, Albariño is known as Albariño worldwide. Yeah.
There we go.
God,
There we go.
Some tricky questions.
It's all in the preparation.
Right, shall we move on?
Well,
Happy with that,
Yeah, I think
everybody?
we're happy with that. Has anybody got any questions out there, apart from related to Pam's haircut or Finn's likeness to... I'm not sure who that was referring to, actually.
What was the other thing that I was going to mention today? Oh, here's another starter for 10, actually. Because you're all wine drinkers out there, but do you know how many kilos of grapes are used to make a bottle of wine?
So
On average.
what volume of grapes in kilos does it take to produce one bottle of wine, 750ml bottle of wine? Think about that. Pop your answers out there and we'll let you know if anyone's getting close. But yeah, Albariño, very nice. If you see it, quite reliable, lovely soft fruit. But obviously, this is a particularly nice one because we've tasted a lot to get to this point.
Right, I'm going to pour out my glass, unfortunately. In fact, I'm going to get 2 little glasses. Oh, there we go.
Let's just...
There we go. We'll stick it in the coffee
that.
mug. There we go for later.
So,
There we go. And then we're going to swiftly move on to the next wine.
okay, so on to the red. Obviously, you might not finish your white yet, but just so we can tell you a little bit about this, our Valpolicella Ripasso.
Yes.
What does that mean?
Ooh, well, before I answer that question, I'm going to do something rather spectacular. If anybody's got one of these chaps in their house, use it. This is a big wine, and so it requires lots of air, lots of... What's that?
Swishing.
Lots of swishing.
Swishing and swirling.
Yeah? Don't be afraid to get lots and lots and lots of air into it. I haven't poured the whole lot in because there's only 2 of us and the dog and we can't drink 2 bottles of wine. Well, not this evening in any case. So lots and lots and lots of air. Push, 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 push. Right, here we go.
And just whilst you're pouring that, Luke has asked if the country might be China. Think outside the box. We're definitely talking per capita.
There's a lot of very poor people in China, unfortunately, and they don't drink.
And on the kilos of grapes question, there's 10 kilo first suggestion has come in, or first I've seen anyway, which is not right, but good to get the ball rolling. So well done, James.
10 kilos, right.
Right, here we are.
So, Valpolicella, Ripasso. What to say? Ripasso is for anybody out there who's an Amarone lover but doesn't want to spend 50 quid on a bottle of Amarone, drink Ripasso. It's the poor man's version of Amarone. And it's all in the winemaking. So Ripasso, the reference to Ripasso, essentially means that the wine is fermented in a normal way. So the grapes are pressed and then they are macerated on their skins to get lots and lots and lots of colour. And then as a final sort of element to it, the grape skins from Amarone, which have been dried and shrivelled almost to, raisins, are then added into the mix. And what that does is it gives the wine a lot more body and a lot more power, a lot more fruit and a lot more acidity and tannins and everything. So it makes it a lot bolder. Strictly speaking, Amarones are even bigger and tend to get drunk at sort of Christmas time when it's cold with big, big, big food. But Ripasso is probably, as I said, the poor man's version of Amarone.
So it's Valpolicella wine enriched with the
grape skins, the raisin skins
from
of
Amarone.
Amarone.
So theoretically, a nice big rich fruity wine.
Yeah. So it needs a nice big rich fruity meatball.
Yes, the meatball.
Don't forget the meatball.
Okay.
The dog is going bonkers here.
He's not getting one. Okay, so the meatballs was the Vietnamese meatballs, which was beef, basically with fish sauce being the main ingredient and a bit of sugar and a bit of this and that, just to enrich the flavours. Because again, it's a canapé, not a meal, so you really need a poof of flavour. So meatballs, which we then wrapped
you
in
could eat 12 meatballs and it could be a full dinner.
Well, that's true.
Did you just burp? He did. Excuse us.
Excuse the dog. Okay, so here we go. I'm now, due to the climate, the current climate, unfortunately we've not been able to purchase any more basil since the weekend. We are on floppy basil leaves, I'm afraid.
To be fair, it's kind of interesting. When we make these in the summer, the leaves are a lot bigger and they wrap all the way around. But at the moment, slim pickings and all that. So
just quickly going back to the guesses coming in, Monaco was a good guess actually. It's vastly different to China, so on the right lines. Kerry has actually come in and played a blinder with the right answer.
Drum roll! Congratulations, Kerry!
So it was... Well,
and there'll be a case of wine coming in your direction. Ooh, maybe not.
I think we actually might have slightly messed up the question a little bit. Because we were really asking for the second highest consumption in the world, because the answer to...
I did say the second highest.
You did say second. Yeah. Okay, cool. In which case, Kerry's got it, which is the Vatican.
Well done. Yes, the merry men... The Pope and his merry men in the Vatican are the second biggest consumers in the world. Frightening, hey? We're not going to tell you who the first biggest consumer is because our DIY tasting kits
sometimes have it, don't they?
Have that question in there, and we don't want to give it away. So if you want to know, then you'll have to look it up, or you'll have to buy a DIY tasting kit.
Tell you about that later.
Okay, so tell me about this here meatball, this poor dog. He's drooling big time.
He's had a biscuit. So actually, we're not eating what you're eating, but it is it's only because we had about 500 grams of Vietnamese meatballs on Monday or whatever it was. So we thought we might just change it slightly, but the idea is nice, rich flavours, and that fish sauce. It's unusual, but it really gives it a good zing, good Asian twist. It's like you could be on the streets in. Well, Vietnam.
Yeah, and what it seems to be doing is it's lifting the fruit in the wine. So if you like wine that's nice and fruity, it's important to get the food combination right. What's lifting the food in it, or what's lifting the wine in it?
I think there's a little sweetness from the sugar which has gone in, just a little bit of sugar,
a little bit of sugar.
Out. And just the two go really well together. I was just having a little bit of an internal giggle at...
Is the doggy allowed to have some?
Ooh, okay.
Okay, Paul, please, Paul. Thank you very much.
That's a good boy.
There you go, good boy.
So, Epsom Hockey Club pointed out that the Pope is probably going it alone and, carrying the flag for the Vatican's wine consumption.
Well, he is Argentine and they are massive consumers.
That's a good point, actually. They were right up there,
Just to put it out there, they used to drink 100 litres per capita per year. Now, that doesn't sound like an awful lot, but when you consider that France drinks about 23 litres per capita and the UK drinks about 18, the Argentines, they know how to swig it.
And actually, it'd be quite interesting, when we were looking at the stats, this is maybe a little bit, a couple of years dated, but... we looked up India for the consumption per capita, and obviously a massively populated country, but with a huge number of people who wouldn't be drinking. The average annual consumption for India was 5 millilitres, like a teaspoon.
A little ditty teaspoon, can you imagine?
No point in setting up a shop there, is there?
Right, now, we thought we'd give you a third question, actually, which is rather topical. I don't know how many people out there drink olive oil, or drink it, but use olive oil. But there's a massive, massive problem in the olive oil industry at the moment, and it's being decimated by a nasty little bug that is destroying the European olive oil crop, well, basically olive trees, and apparently it's got to 60% of the olive trees, which is a disaster really. So not only is the price of olive oil going to go up, but we're not going to be able to get it actually as frequently as we possibly can. In any case, that little bug is called Gileia. Now, there was another little bug in the wine industry in around about the 1849, 1850 that did exactly the same thing. It decimated all the vineyards across Europe. In fact, majority of the world, but mostly Europe was decimated. And here's a question: who knows what it was? Because I've always said that this is one of the things that should come up in schools. So any teachers out there should be teaching this sort of thing. It's important. But it decimated every single grapevine across Europe. Who knows what it was called? There. That's something to get you thinking about.
It's out there. Faye has made a good point that she reckons that the UK consumption's getting quite up there with, sort of world rankings at the moment.
Well, with my customer that's ordering 3 cases a week, that's bang on. Anybody else? Who else?
I think everybody's at it really, but it's all about mental health and looking after ourselves, and if that involves a little bit of indulgence, that's all right, isn't it?
So next week, whilst we're waiting for those answers to come in, next week we're going to have another couple of wines. Jude, do you remember what they are?
Yes. So next week is the super duper Jordan estate from Stellenbosch barrel fermented Chardonnay, which if you think you don't like Chardonnay, give it a go. I mean, it's really stunning, isn't it? And then the red is Casas del Bosque, which is our lovely Chilean producer who we've just followed since day dot, which was 8 years ago. They're a Chilean producer, and it's their Carmenere, which has been one of our best-selling wines for forever, actually. And this 2017 vintage we've just moved on to has come into its own at the moment, so it's really lovely.
Yeah. Casas del Bosque have been awarded Winery of the Year twice in a row, and Carmenere is the Chilean equivalent to Malbec in Argentina. So if you like Malbec and you like Cabernet Sauvignon, you will love this Carmenere.
Okay, ding ding, correct answer has come in. Luke, on behalf of Simon, phylloxera.
Oh, well done.
Good.
Here's the next question. Can you spell it?
Well, actually,
Phylloxera.
I think that's right, as long as there's 2 L's. So it's
and
looking
a y
pretty
and
good.
an X in there.
And an X and a Y, yeah.
Well done.
So
Excellent.
good knowledge that.
Yeah.
And you're right, because actually 8 years ago I didn't know about it. I love my wine, but I didn't know about phylloxera. And actually, it's something that could have changed all of our lives dramatically. We'd all be sitting here talking about Guinness.
well, it did in actual fact, and the fact is that the only way that the whole of the world recovered after this nasty little bug that got into the roots of the vines and basically just ate it. I've lost my train of thought. What was I going to say?
How life could have been different without wine.
So what happened? They actually discovered that an American rootstock could be used, and now every single vine across the world, bar a few little pockets, Chile for example, are grafted onto American rootstock. And Bob's your uncle. They stopped that nasty little bug. So not dissimilar to what we're up against at the moment, us humans, but hopefully they will find some little solution so that we can all get together and do these wine events face to face.
We could actually clink a glass. Actually, just thinking about the phylloxera thing and this big bug that decimated the planet and nearly changed our lives for the worse. Did decimate.
Yeah.
It was also the cause of, for example, Malbec being grown in Argentina, wasn't it? So, people had come over here and taken vines and taken them over to the sort of New World.
Yeah.
And some varieties that, if anyone's ever had a French Malbec, it's quite hard, isn't it? It's kind of like, quite a tough wine that you need to eat with, and it's not going to be massively commercial anymore.
Yeah.
But that very same grape grown in Argentina.
Malbec used to be the main component in Bordeaux wine. So today, Bordeaux, the main component is Cabernet Sauvignon and Merlot. It used to be that it was Malbec. But Malbec, after this phylloxera, never really recovered in Europe. It never really recovered. And it found a better home in Argentina. Same as Carmenere in Chile. So well done, whoever it was, the clever chap that took it over there in the first instance.
And a nice
Illegally,
segue.
I'm sure.
Well, yeah, in his hand luggage. And a nice segue into the Carmenere next week. So,
have we got an answer on the olive oil?
phylloxera.
Oh, yes, we have. Yeah. Did we get the kilos?
We've had the Vatican. And finally, the number of kilos... 1 kilo.
One little kilo. When they're forecasting across the world what the yields are going to be, they work on the principle of 1 kilo of grapes is going to produce 1 bottle of wine, give or take.
So I'm going to pop the URL for the canapés for next week on this Facebook page. So you can go through and see what's going to be required for your shopping list for next week. I've done some really simple ones, but they're really good combinations. God. So it's basically mushrooms on toast for the Chardonnay, and for the Carmenere, it's like a little mini roast dinner, and there is a vegetarian option which involves aubergine. So do click on the link, get your ingredients, get cooking in advance, and we'll do the pairing together next week. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for joining us.
And your last challenge is to go and find those embedded videos that Jude has managed to...
Well, we are also, as well as wine merchants, we are website managers and marketeers and delivery drivers and dog walkers and everything. So bear with us, but we're getting there, and soon we'll be Facebook Livers as well.
Oh yeah. Last question also. If there's anything you want to hear from us, give us a shout. Any particular wines that you want us to cover, give us a shout. We're going to do a little video, whether we actually do it live or we just put it out there, but we're going to do one about how to taste wine, because somebody mentioned that actually nobody really talks about this, and what is all this about? What's it all about? How do you express how do you get the best expression of wine? So we might just put that together. And
I suppose we should do a final cheers, because I think it's pretty much unanimous that Finn's been the star of the show.
No,
he's a good boy.
God, if only it was like this normally. Cheers, everybody. Nice to see you. Continue the lockdown well. Stay healthy. Bye. Right, I'm off ski. Oh!
Okay, cheers, Finn. That's it. Bye, everyone.